The Suburban.
Yeah, but 18, they have an 18% accuracy rate. If you think about that, I think we got to go away from the. I think we have to engage the right in a little bit and say, hey, listen, the good guy with the gun isn't always going to be what stops a massacre. We have to have countermeasures so you don't have a bad guy with the gun.
Yeah, especially if he's only hitting 18% of the target.
Right, and that is the long, and you think about it, that's somebody that's gone to an academy for a long time, and you can look up the stats. Don't believe me? Google them.
Yep.
And I think that you've got to have that debate. I mean, I think you've got to say, hey, listen, you guys are facing, and I give you another idea that's going out in your part of the woods, that nobody is willing to have an honest conversation. Your sea lions out there.
Don't even get us started on the damn sea lions out here. I swear to God, those get more rights than what the friggin' people do around here.
Oh my God.
I mean,
yeah.
And they're decimating the salmon population out there.
Wait, what'd you call it?
What happened?
What did you call it?
Oh my God. Oh, Sierra Alpha Lima. November.
It was just the way you said it, man. It's that whole East Coast West Coast thing. That's all we had to bust your chops on that one.
Because this is Oregon.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys pronounce it, but let's just go Sierra Alpha Lima, Mike, Oscar, November. Those little things that, But and you think about that, you're going to have an honest conversation between conservatives or conservationists and actually say, hey, listen, you got to go kill some. I wonder what a sea lion burger tastes like.
Right. Imagine it'd probably be pretty good. But the biggest problem with that is that even if you try to have, now, not saying that they're all like that out here, because you get into the thick of Portland, you go into downtown, or even if you go like Eugene or Salem or anything like any towns like that are very on the left side of the aisle, and you try to sit down and you have a conversation with these people, it's like even the mere mention of it, and they get spun up. They get spun up and they get
twisted.
Oh, they get all sorts of irate. And it's sad. It really is, because it's like no matter what you try, even if you just sit there and try to have a civil, open-minded conversation with them, now, some of them will. Not saying they all won't, but unfortunately, the vast majority of them, they get so social justice, warrior on you, to where you can't have, a open-minded conversation with these folks. And it's sad. It really is. Now, the ones that you can, it's nice. It's a breath of fresh air, because you're like, hey, I can actually discuss this with you, and we're not trying to kill each other, and when you get,
right.
It's nice to actually be able to have that. And, looks like my producer Josh has pulled up
found it.
Yeah, he actually found the story, I think, of what you were talking about. The ODFW trapping sea lions near Willamette.
Right here in Oregon City.
Yeah, it's right here, literally right down the hill from us. So, talk about them trapping the sea lions at Willamette Falls and hauling them off to the coast. Thank God.
Right.
Because them little asses right there have eaten 47% or something like that of the run.
Yeah,
year.
We actually had a conversation about that a couple of weeks ago on our outdoor portion of the show, about how bad especially the California sea lions, and not because they're Californian, but because that's their species.
Hey, we can export the Californians too.
Yeah.
Right? But they come up, they come upstream from the coast, up to Columbia and into Willamette and, some of the other tributaries of the Columbia, and they decimate the salmon population coming through here. It's like, why can't you do it like pike minnow or anything else like that? Invasive species. No, you got to do it with the salmon. Bastards.
So this article states that the state's seeking permission to kill the offenders, the offenders of the sea lions. If the sea lions keep killing over and over again, or keep coming up over and over again, they're looking for them to kill them off.
Nice. About time.
They're waiting for permission right now.
Well, that'll be nice if we're able to actually be able to do that. So, anyhow, George, we're up against the top of the hour. We're actually a little bit past the top of the hour for taking our break. We appreciate the call in, brother.
Oh, dude, it's a pleasure coming on. I wish you guys all the best for your show, and always, it's always a pleasure to be part of the, the veteran radio community. And like I said, wish you guys all the best. Have a great evening.
Awesome. Thanks, brother.
You.
Yeah, thanks
George.
for welcoming us over onto this side of the VRS house. So couldn't do it without you guys and your guys' support. So thanks, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Sure. Have a great night.
All right, you too, brother.
Bye.
So, all right. Well, with that being said, we're going to move into what would usually be our music break. But instead, we're going to bust out with a quick little ditty from our buddy Nathan over at the U.S. Alpha Veteran. So, got a little deal from him. So, be sure to sit back and enjoy this motivational moment in history.
It's me again, and it is time for Motivated Moments in History. Listen up, man. I hate beets. I hate spiders. I hate cheese pizza, and I really hate my ex-wife. But all that hate I have pales in comparison for the hatred this badass dude had for Nazis. We're talking about Lewis Millet. Colonel Lewis Millet, the sweet mustache, having pipe smoking, 2 grenades hanging from his shoulders, pure American badass. I'm just getting chills thinking about it. Let me go ahead and give this guy a woo! Woo! Okay, as I was saying, this guy hated some Nazis. More than hated him, he loathed some Nazis. He hated Nazis the way liberals hate biology. He hated them so much that his junior year in high school in 1940, he dropped out and joined the Army. You know, but at the time, the U.S. was doing all it could to not intervene in the war in Europe, so he wasn't able to go fight. You know, he didn't like this, so he decided to go AWOL, and he went up north of the border and joined a Canadian Army in hopes of going across the pond and slaying some motherfucking bodies. But unfortunately for him, he was assigned to what we know as the Air Defense Artillery, and he was sent to Britain to help defend them against the barrage of incoming rocket attacks during the Blitz. I mean, this didn't really set well with him, especially after the attack on Pearl Harbor. When the U.S. finally decided to go get knee-deep in some German ass crack, Millet said, you know what, Canada? Screw you, your stupid bacon, Celine Dion, the Winter Olympics. I'm going back to America and deploy with them so I can go mushroom stamp some Axis powers in the face. He was assigned to the 1st Armored Division and sent to Africa to help fight Rommel's forces. Rommel's tanks, they were nearly impenetrable, but this didn't stop this guy from, laying down some form of hate. I mean, he earned a Bronze Star for using his truck-mounted machine gun to shoot down a German pilot in mid-flight. I mean, that's not an exaggeration. This guy shot through the cockpit and peeled the dude's face off. That is a literal statement. Flying face, all of a sudden flying, no face. I mean, he also earned a Silver Star later for mounting a burning half-track and driving away from his men and then jumped as it exploded. This guy's life was like an action movie reel. I mean, I'm almost certain he did some of this stuff in slow motion. He quickly made sergeant and moved on to Italy for his next stop in his world ass-kicking tour. I mean, it was there that his superiors realized that he did, in fact, desert back in 1940, and when he went to the Canadian Army, so they had to court-martial him. But he was such a monumental Nazi teabagger that he was sentenced only to a $52 fine. I mean, the sentence for desertion was strict, especially at that time. I mean, long prison sentences, some cases maybe even death. But it's not every day someone deserts their post because they're not kicking enough ass. I mean, and then to make sure that he wasn't too upset with the fine, I mean, they battlefield commissioned him to lieutenant a few weeks later. All right, fast forward a few years, it's now after World War II. It's the 1950s, and Colonel Millet, or then Captain Millet at the time, needed to get his fix on some dead people. So with the Korean War starting up, he found his chance to once again go unbeaten in a World Badass Championship. All right, so in the Korean War, he was a company commander of the 27th Infantry Regiment. Now, seeing he was already a decorated war hero and a bona fide killer, I mean, you think he'd be trying to put his glory days behind him, right? No, World War II is just the opening act. I mean, one day while fighting in North Korea, old Lewis came across a piece of intel that China thought Americans were a bunch of soggy vaginas and were too scared to duke it out hand to hand. This pissed him off so bad that his mustache grew 6 freaking inches. And at that point, he made it his personal mission to knuckle blast anybody in a raiding hat square in the taint. While fighting for a key piece of terrain named Hill 180, one of the platoons in his company was pinned down by heavy enemy fire. So he told the other platoons to fix bayonets, and he stood out front and led a charge spanning a good distance across snowy hills and all this other stuff into a bunker of 200 enemy fighters. There he stabbed 2 men, clubbed many more in the nuts, and just threw a slew of grenades all over the place. I mean, he was wounded by one of the grenades, but he wasn't phased at all, and he refused treatment until his guys conquered their objective. I mean, all in all, nearly a quarter of that North Korean force was killed, and the rest ran away to go tell tales of the psycho mustache who just whooped their asses into submission. As for his guys, they maintained minimal casualties and spent the afternoon bathing in the blood and guts of their opposition. I mean, for these actions, he was awarded the Medal of Honor. Later on, he was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross for leading yet another, you guessed it, bayonet charge and slayed even more commie bastards. Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! I mean, now a veteran of 2 wars receiving multiple awards for valor. He could have just retired, but no. He stayed in and went to Vietnam, his 3rd war. I mean, there he founded the famous Recondo School, and he trained commandos to conduct long-range reconnaissance, and so they can go control alt-elites and motherfucking BC. He was promoted to colonel, and that's the rank he retired at, and he's the only guy in the history of the U.S. Army to be found guilty for desertion via court-martial and then go on to make a full-bird colonel. This guy had no regard for enemy life and no regard for the AR-670-1. He died in November 2009 of congestive heart failure, proving the only one who can kill this guy was his own stinking body. I mean, his life was as if a video game in the Rambo franchise, boned in a back alley and had a baby and named that baby Lewis freaking Millet. I remember driving my car 30 miles over the speed limit and thinking that I was a badass. After reading this guy's biography, I came to the realization that me and everyone else are nothing but a bunch of sniveling bitches, because Colonel Millet just set the par for badassery. And that, kids, is your motivated moment. And with that, I'm out.
Oh,
that is so good.
Oh, God.
That whole thing is so good.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, U.S. Alpha Veteran, for that clip. We do appreciate it. So, before we get into our next portion of the show, let's go ahead and give our sponsors a quick shout-out.
Hey, Bulldog here. I realize that you have plenty of options when it comes to veteran apparel, but the only way you're going to truly know which one you like and which one feels best for you is if you check them all out. So I'm asking you, go to ThreatCon5clothing.com and check out our wide variety of hats, hoodies, stickers, and of course t-shirts. That's www.threatcon5clothing.com. American made, combat veteran approved. And don't forget, wear the grenade.
Hi everyone, J-Dub here from BB Nation Radio to speak with you about our friends over at Warrior Point. Warrior Point is a non-profit organization focused on bringing veterans together to help service members from all branches and all areas of service to help rebuild the camaraderie forged between service members during their time in the military. And Warrior Point strives to accomplish their mission just like you do during your time of service. There's no fees to join, and it's 100% free. So log on to warriorpoint.org and become one of the uncommon few.
Why does it always take the hard times to get people back together again? But I believe in America. I believe in America.
right, and once again, thank